So you're here because your relationship with an avoidant ended, or you are thinking about ending it, and it hurts, and it's natural to want this pain to go away. And also, it's natural to want to make sure that this dynamic will not happen again. In this video, I'm going to give you specific recommendations that are going to help you to navigate through this journey with a little bit more ease, and also help you transform this pain into strength. And number one on this list is identify the real need that was not met in this relationship. Before rushing to answer or wondering how in the world this can help, I want you to pause. Identifying a real need is a skill that very few people have, as it requires a high level of self-awareness and a high level of consciousness. I'll give you an example in a second, but here is the key difference between a compensatory need that was created by trauma and a real, authentic need. Recognizing an authentic need before it is even fulfilled is going to bring relief. And yes, it can bring grief as well, as as you also realize how long it has been unmet. But this skill to identify between compensatory and authentic need is so powerful that some therapy approaches, like for example Gestalt therapy, prioritize identifying real needs over even analyzing the past and going deep into traumas. So why is this skill so rare? Because in childhood, a child's connection with their caregiver is always more important than their own needs. When caregiver is inattentive to a child's needs, the child does not stop loving the caregiver. They stop loving themselves. And what is self-love? It is being attentive to your own needs. So how to identify a compensatory need versus real need? A compensatory need feels like something that can only be satisfied externally. For example, in a relationship with someone who has avoidant attachment style, you might think, well, I needed to feel safe in this relationship. I wanted to feel valued. But if you believed that this safety or value could only come from your partner or from their choices or actions, that's a sign of a compensatory need, a secondary response to an earlier unmet real need. Compensatory needs are driven by an internal lack and the fear of losing something again, just like it happened in the past. So why does the mind usually fixate on compensatory needs? Because it believes that only after this need is met will it allow itself to experience their real need. So how to find your real need? Start by identifying the compensatory need. So for example, you think that you're in that relationship that just ended, you did not get enough of safety. So then ask, if I truly felt safe in this relationship, what I would be able to experience. And here are some answers that I have heard. It's being able to relax and feel at ease. It's experiencing closeness without fear. It is having authentic, unfiltered self-expression. It's another answer, for example, trusting in consistency and emotional presence, being playful and spontaneous in connection, letting go of control, and simply being. So once you identify the real need, you start shifting from seeking external fulfillment to building internal security, which is the foundation for healing. So as you can see, all these needs are something that you can give yourself. The second recommendation is process feelings that are in the shadow. When we are hurt, we usually only consciously recognize half of our feelings. The other half remains in the shadow, hidden from our awareness. Trauma always splits a healthy emotional response into two opposing parts. Very simplified, it's going to be feelings associated with being the victim and feelings associated with the aggressor's response. For example, if the psyche does not experience self-worth, it will split into feeling interior, it's the more victim side, and feeling superior, the compensatory aggressor side. However, we usually only identify with one half, the part that feels familiar. The unconscious part gets projected outward, which is why we tend to attract partners who embody the side we have disowned. And pretty much this is what wound mates, if you ever heard this phrase, there are soulmates, but there are also wound mates, and wound mates can become soulmates. But wound mates have the same trauma, but they are just on the opposite sides of it. And we are attracted to each other because this way the psyche is trying to combine what was split. So one of the most effective ways to uncover shadow feelings is to step into the perspective of the other person. So basically, imagine that you are them. What do you feel? You are them. What would you be feeling? Because your unconscious mind projects disowned parts of ourselves onto others, this exercise can reveal hidden emotions that we suppress within ourselves. Number 3, let go of negative narratives about the relationship. Avoid framing your experience as a waste of time, or that saying that I betrayed myself or I should have known better. This kind of thinking comes from the really narcissistic illusion that pain can be avoided if we just try hard enough, or if we control everything, or if we make perfect choices. But relationships are not predictable. Trust is something that needs to be built between two people, and this process always involves risk. So you can never fully know if the other person is capable of closeness, how they are going to handle fear, or whether they are ready to hold space for someone else's emotional process. It's also an illusion to think that a perfect choice exists, one that will not require losing something. When we make choices, we usually focus on what do I want to gain, but we rarely ask, what am I willing to lose? If you feel like you lost more than you gained, that is not failure. It is still experience. And for most people, self-discovery happens not by immediately knowing what they want, but by learning what they do not want. The real question is not whether you made the right choice, but whether in that choice you supported yourself or chose to abandon yourself. Pain is a normal part of life. Suffering, however, doesn't come from the other person's actions. It comes from how we interpret the feelings their actions trigger in us. Number 4, choosing yourself does not mean rejecting them. One of the biggest fears in all insecure attachment styles is rejection, and sometimes the psyche unconsciously protects others from experiencing it. It is as if your mind says, I was once rejected and it was painful, so I won't do the same to someone else because that would make me like the person who hurt me. You may not fully realize it, but guilt or a sense of responsibility for their emotions might hold you back. The truth is, choosing to let go is not an act of rejection. It is an act of self-alignment. It is not about proven strength, but about recognizing your limits, your needs, your values in the present moment and honoring them. Choosing yourself does not mean being against them. It means finally being for yourself. Number 5, reconnect with yourself and call your energy back. I usually say this phrase when I feel that my focus shifted somewhere else, away from myself. My soul, come back to me. Sometimes we are so focused on being chosen that we stop feeling the contact with ourselves, with our feelings, with our body. And this way, we risk to find ourselves with people with whom we can't truly relax or can't truly experience being accepted. Number 6, expanding your emotional capacity. Breaking up in general is a great opportunity to expand your emotional capacity. So what it means, your relationship with an avoidant partner likely triggered deep transformations. And transformation means that something old has been challenged or has fallen apart, but something new has not yet been built. Healing is not about rushing, it's about expanding your emotional capacity. We can only invite into our lives what we are emotionally capable of losing. If your emotional container is small, even meaningful connections may feel overwhelming. Every time you go through grief, you are stretching your capacity to hold and experience deeper, more fulfilling relationships in the future. So trust the process. You are bigger than your emotions. And if you allow yourself to feel pain, maybe feel aggression, maybe feel sadness, basically going through any of the 5 stages of grieving process, all of that is making space for something greater. And a lot of people, unfortunately, rush through this process. And it kind of reminds me of this interesting fact that I learned about horses. So horses often heal faster on the surface than deep inside, meaning if they had a cut, very soon from outside it will look like it healed, but it didn't. And it creates the illusion of recovery while internal damage still remains. Their skin regenerates quickly, but deeper tissues take longer to heal. The same happens with emotional wounds. We may look fine on the outside, tell ourselves that we have moved on, but if the pain is not processed at a deeper level, it lingers. And it keeps resurfacing through triggers, patterns, or emotional exhaustion. True healing is not just about time, it is about going beyond the surface and addressing what still hurts. And I would like to finish this video with one of my favorite quotes. Do not hold on to someone who is leaving, otherwise you will not meet the one who is coming. That's a quote by Carl Jung. You're not losing love, you're making room for the kind of love that can meet you where you are. Thank you for watching this video. Please let me know in the comment section what point maybe surprised you or which one you liked the most, or if you have any questions. Please hit the like button, subscribe, and remember, you are not alone on this path. And I look forward to seeing you in my next video.